Hello, welcome everybody. This is Neil with Portal to Ascension coming at you live. So good to be here with you all. Hope you're all doing beautifully today. And I am here today with another guest as we've been doing a lot of live streams that we just started a couple days ago, but it's been a lot in the last few days. And we're going to be doing quite a lot more in the next 3 months. And today is kind of a pre-planned / spontaneous, just because we did discuss having this interview a few months ago. But just yesterday, we connected and decided to go live today. So I'm excited to introduce you to Aaron Pine today. Aaron, we connected, what year was it? 2018, 2019. He was a vendor and also a speaker and shared meditation on both conferences, I believe, for our Portal to Ascension conference that took place in Irvine. So we had a live in-person event 2018. We did a live event again in 2019. And then something happened in the planet and we had to go online for a couple of years. And we went online and now we're actually going back to our live conference again. We're going to be live in San Diego. And I've announced it a few times, but not. We did an official announcement, Jonah and myself, on our channel. You can check out that whole video. It's on our YouTube right now. You can go ahead and check it out. And basically we go down every speaker and what's going to be happening there. That's April 2023. But I'm really excited to be connected with Aaron because it's been a while since we've talked, right, brother? Yeah. So it's been like I think it was like a good 2 solid years before we even interacted again. He sent me an email, so I was really happy to see that email and just to reconnect because I'm sure Aaron has evolved ever since that moment and has been doing a lot of amazing things. I've connected with one of his friends that also is telling me that I should do some work with Aaron. So we're gonna get today to get a glimpse into the world of Aaron. And I know you guys have already seen his backdrop there and his hat. So it's a world that I feel a lot of us would probably want to be in because it seems so majestical. But let me tell you a little bit about Aaron. He began his spiritual journey of awakening at the age of 17. He has been blessed with several multidimensional experiences that massively expand his heart and mind. These experiences show him the deeper truths about the true nature of reality and gifted him with a wider vision of humanity's potential. Since his initiation into the world of spirituality, he has studied independently with many master teachers, refining his unique gifts and resources and broadening his ability to continue with higher realms. He is well-versed in mystical, spiritual, and holistic healing modalities. He combines these to assist his clients to focus their intention, tap into the inner power, and awaken to their own soul brilliance, or as he calls it in the avatar, Aaron is a healer, mentor, and wayshower for our modern times, helping others to live more conscious, creative, and connected lives. And beyond that, he's just a beautiful soul and good person and really kind of compassionate individual. So Aaron, brother, it's good to see you, man.
You too. You too. Thank you for all that. And yeah, I'm just really excited to reconnect and open some new portals with you.
Definitely. So how have you been, last couple of years? What's been going on with you?
It's been an epic journey. Gosh, yeah, probably not after long we connected, went up to the mountains for a while outside of LA. And then, I started to formulate this idea of this new meditation experience I wanted to create. And right at the beginning of 2020, I kind of dedicated myself to build this new platform, Inner Realms Journey. And then I decided to go to New Zealand. A couple of different things led me there, and I loved it there. And I got there right before COVID hit. And originally a 2-month retreat turned into 13 months in New Zealand during that first, wave of the unfolding of all the changes. And it was like this safe little bubble. At that time, there wasn't any real COVID there, so it was more free flowing while the world was going through transformation. And there I got to start building this new platform and really start to embody the Elven Wizard, which we'll talk about, the avatar form, and start to bring through the magic of the Tree of Life and how that can help people. So got a wonderful opportunity to spend that time there in New Zealand and build this, and then came back last year to the States to start, continue building it and bringing this magic out to the world, both with adults, and we're working with kids now. So just a whole new expression for myself and a whole new way to bring this magic out to the world at large.
Beautiful, brother. Before we talk about all the work that you're doing now, because I'm really curious what you're doing, what exactly you're doing with adults and kids, why don't you tell us, just introduce everybody to yourself, your journey, and basically how you got to where you are now.
Yeah. So as you said in the bio, I kind of had my spiritual awakening when I was 17, growing up in Ohio and Cincinnati, and connected with my first psychic spiritual teachers and energy healing work. And at the age of 18, that was all it just kind of flooded in, and I started to be able to connect with spirit beings in different dimensions, running healing energy, and very quickly started kind of opening a practice in Ohio. At the same time, my visionary artwork, which I think you've seen before, my digital design artwork, that started coming through. And I realized that was, it was way to transmit these sort of spiritual understandings and these spiritual dimensions through art, through the visual aspect. And so my life's been since then been dedicated to how do I continue to bring through consciousness and awareness and help people connect with who they really are. And so my journey's led me, from Ohio to the West Coast, and just supporting other practitioners through web design and graphic design and helping them get their businesses going, and then working with people one-on-one, helping them activate their potential. So my journey's been continuing to find this ancient knowledge, this ancient wisdom that is spread across the world, and then also sort of modernizing it, or how do we integrate that into the modern day world and life, and how do I continue to embody that in my journey, in my life, and continue to sort of pioneer and push the limits of what it means to be a spiritual being in the human experience. And so I continue to find out what that means for myself. Who am I as a spiritual being? What is that truth? How do I then embody that to live my joy, live my passion, bring through like my highest version of myself, and at the same time inspire others to do that. So that's been my journey, is like, how do I continue to kind of break down the boundaries, the stories of our human experience, and open up to, the magic that I feel like is there. And for many of us, it's just right outside our peripheral, right outside our vision. Even like spirit guides and energy, right? We're expanding to that, but it's like, it's right there. So how do we bring that into this human experience, into this day-to-day life? So that's been my path of how do I bridge that and bring that in.
And would you say you've been doing that through the ancient wisdom that you've been acquiring? Also, you said you were connected to spirit beings in different dimensions as a kid. So were you receiving insights? And then was art your main modality to bring that out?
No, I've received insights, my own meditation, working with others. I've almost had like this team of different beings that have kind of built up over my lifetime. So yeah, my meditation, when I'm doing healing work, even the artwork I create, I feel like that's guided. It's like my whole design team. I'm the one doing the physical design of it, but they're all there supporting that process. And this clear awareness that although we are here in the human form, we have this huge team around us that's there supporting us. And it's kind of like, to me, they showed me this image once that felt very true. It's like if you've ever played a video game and you've got some friends around, and you're there playing this game, you're the one controlling it, and your friends are there and they're like cheering you on, like, oh, go over there, go left, or go get that thing, right? But we're the ones like playing the game. It's like the human experience. We're the ones in here playing the human game, and they're just kind of right outside, and you can kind of like focus on them, but you're also focused on playing the game and keeping things going.
Wow.
So it's like, how do we broaden our awareness? Obviously, we're here to play this game and play the human experience and bring our gifts to it and navigate this journey. But there's all this support here where they have a bit of understanding, or they can kind of see things that we kind of lose track of. So it's been my work for myself. How do I continue to open up to feel them, receive them, know they're there, and bring the benefits of their wisdom into this world?
How do you do that? Like, is there a modality that you have, or do you feel just like you were kind of had that unlocked in you as a child?
Yeah, it was there, but it's definitely like understanding the framework of how that works has helped a lot with the conscious mind of how to open that up. And that's, for me, the tree of life has been the clearest map or framework of how to do that, how to start opening that connection and work with that in an easy, practical kind of way. So that the tree of life is this ancient map that's been found. It's pretty much everywhere.
You talk about the Kabbalistic tree of life?
Well, so I kind of see that there's different versions of it. So the Kabbalah is one version of it. There's the Norse tree of life. but you'll find it's in ancient Asia, it's in Africa, it's in Mayans. Some Native Americans have it. It's pretty much everywhere. Sometimes it's more upfront or more detailed. Like the Kabbalah is a very detailed system, right? There's a lot to it. There's a lot of literature around it, from through the ages. The Norse one, Yggdrasil, which is my favorite, has a lot of mythology and stories around it. It has 9 realms. But basically, all these trees of life, it's a symbolic representation of all that we are and all the dimensions, all the different realities, or I like to call them realms of consciousness. And our human experience is just one of those. Our day-to-day human reality is one realm. It's one part of the tree of life. And you can think of it as like, right, a tree has leaves, it's got roots, it might have fruits and seeds. Those are all each different expressions of the tree. And they're holographic, right? Like a seed contains the wholeness of the tree in its own unique way. A leaf has the whole tree within its own unique way. And they're all connected, right? They each support the functioning of the whole tree. So our human experience is one realm, one aspect of the whole tree. When you start connecting, I know a lot of your other interviews and a lot of work you do is like connecting to these other dimensions and these other beings and extraterrestrials, right? To me, they're all different realms on the tree of life that we can connect to. And we are reestablishing our relationship to them. And as you do that, they can come through. It's like you built that network. Just like we have our human networks of like, okay, I know my friends, I know Neo who runs this. I got my favorite, electrician. I know my this and that. You built that network of people, and you got your social network, right? So it's like you got your network of interdimensional connections. And the tree of life is an awesome framework to understand that and start to navigate that.
So would these tree of life, the areas on the tree of life, are realms and dimensions interchangeable? So is that like another dimension of experience within this physical reality, or does it even transcend physicality?
It's outside of physicality, but it's also, I feel like we weave them in. The earth, the physical world, is often considered sort of a bridge between all the realms. And I kind of exchange the word realms and dimensions kind of interchangeably. It's an experience outside of our physical reality. It's outside the spectrum of where our physical senses are picking up in our logical mind at this point. And as we open those, we can begin to run that energy through us and into this world. So I feel like, like I mentioned, I've got these guides that help with my artwork. So I feel like I built that relationship, so that energy, the wisdom, the insights from them can come through me and into the work I do. And each of us have our own network, just like we do in this life. You've got your own connections, the relationships you've built. Some are very in depth, some are maybe a little bit, acquaintances, and everywhere in between. So we build these relationships through our soul's journey.
So are there a certain number of realms in the tree of life?
Yeah, so a lot of the maps, like the Kabbalah, generally has, I've seen maps of 9 to 12. The Norse tree of life has 9 realms. There's a general breakup of like the roots, the trunk, and the branches being 3 main segments. And there's a few other maps out there. What I've been kind of guided is to expand upon those, that there's actually many more. And those were what was available or was available for that level of human consciousness in those past timelines. And it's time to start expanding that. Humanity's ready for a bigger map. So in my meditation platform, Inner Realms Journey, it's all based around this. And there's meditations that take you to the different realms. I've got about 50, 60 published on there already, with a huge list. I feel like this is kind of my job for a while, is bridging these connections to these other realms.
The realms.
Yeah. And so, what they keep showing me is there's really infinite. And I'm just starting to lay this framework so people can start to make those connections. And I was even working with a client yesterday. She's very tapped in, and, we've been working with the Tree of Life. And so she's got it, and she started going on to her own journey to a realm I've never experienced in the session we're working on. So it's like she was starting to access her own connections that are, not something I've gone to before. So
wow,
really beautiful.
So many things are coming to my head, and so many dots are being connected as you're speaking here. Because all right, so let's say the Tree of Life is like a support system for our physically experience here, right? And we have this first extension of the support system that goes 9 to 12. right? But then ultimately, all the way to source, we're being supported. So
Right.
they're like constructs within constructs within constructs, cycles within cycles.
Exactly.
So you can expand out to the source, or you can expand out to just your first connection to source, which might be galactic or something, right?
Right. Yeah.
And so even in, I think Bringers of the Dawn, it talks about nine, the chakra systems and the 12 chakra system, right? And it says that the eighth chakra is the solar systematic chakra, and the ninth chakra is the galactic chakra, right? The number nine. And then we also have the 12 dimensions in our physical universe, and the 13th one being the void, right? So it seems like this tree of life is almost like some sort of support system for a galaxy,
Yeah.
Does
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
resonate?
Yeah. I feel like it's like the underlying structure of everything, and it's very
Mhm.
right fractal oriented, right? Like just like a tree, it's got a branch and then it splits off, and those branches are holographic fractals of the ones before. So it's
Mhm.
encompassing of all those dimensions, realities, and even our experiences in day-to-day life. It's like right now, you and I are creating our little realm together with whoever else is joining in. I'm expressing my energy, you're expressing your energy, so we're creating this little mini realm. I go out to eat at a restaurant tonight, I'm going into the realm of that restaurant, right?
Mhm.
You can even lay it out to the areas of your life. Your work, that's a realm of your life. Your personal relationships, that's a realm. Your finances, that's a realm. So even those are, energetic frameworks of your patterns, your beliefs, your experiences, your interactions are within that dimension, and they're connected to the whole tree of life. So then once you start to see that connection, you can start to mm, bring them into a more holistic place where they're being nourished by everything. So my finances are also being nourished by these other realms. My work is related to these other realms, right? It all starts to interconnect, and we move into
Uh-huh.
that greater holistic wholeness where everything becomes connected within us, what we're creating in this life, and our multidimensional nature. And so that tree holds it all, and you can move your energy to expand and feel the whole tree and become that whole tree that you are, all those dimensions you are, and feel that connection. And that's like that source point, right? Like, yes, I am all of this, and I can focus into a particular thing. I can focus into the work and bring all that tree with me. And I can even do this in my healing journey, right? So if there is a time in your life where there's a heavy trauma, right? A lot of people are working on like childhood trauma. That was a realm. Your every phase in your life is a realm. Okay, here's maybe I had some trauma when I was 8 or 9. Let me move the entire tree into that leaf, right? That leaf was damaged. 8-year-old 9 self. Let me move all that life force into there and alchemize that, heal that, bring love to that. And then you can release the energy from that trauma. Past life, that was another realm, right? Every life incarnation, those are realms on your tree of life. So it allows you to start to navigate through them and bring that connection and that restoration to it.
Mm. So how does this connect to the flower of life at all? Because from some people, some researchers say like that flower of life is kind of like the geometry that represents this dimension. What's your take on that?
Sure. So yeah, there's the flower of life, the seed of life, those geometric patterns. I've seen a lot of literature around how those are oriented with like the Kabbalah tree of life and geometrically line up. Um, those there's symbols of generation and expression, right, of how to move life force and how things open up. So right, and I've seen some people say, oh, the flower of life is negative, and some say it's positive, and
Hmm.
all across the board. To me, it's what you infuse into it, and it's tools, right? A hammer can be damaging, or you can build something with it. They're dimensions of the tree of life that you can explore and see how it works for you. Um, the tree of life also contains the roots, which some say is in the darkness, right? It's underneath. So there's that pattern of experience. It's all
Mm.
there, right? Everything. And sometimes that can be hard for some people to say, okay, well, there's that dark side too. Well, that's part of the wholeness of who you are.
Creation. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
and so the flower of life, it's a formation. It's a flower on the tree. The seed, there's the seed of life, and there's many other forms. I played with those. You see those a lot in my earlier artwork. And I also love creating new shapes. What shapes and patterns unfold out of me that are important for me and empower me, and that can continue to
Mm.
evolve. Again, I was working with somebody. She has certain symbols that we've found out are really empowering for her. And so it's like, how does she draw that into her life day to day? There's certain symbols I have or wear that I know are impactful for me that help me in my journey.
Hmm. I love what you said about the roots and the darkness and the basically these tools, these geometries are neutral reflections of source, and
Right.
they fractalize
Right.
whatever we put out through it.
Right.
Downward fractal, upward fractal, right? It's
Right.
like the sweet irony, like the way that the whole thing is created here.
Right.
So it's just, yeah. So I love that. You also said earlier that we're playing the game. So it was interesting to me because it's kind of paradoxical in nature, because not only are we playing the game, but we're also the characters in the game.
Right.
And
Yeah.
and we forgot that we're playing the game, so we're playing it unconsciously,
Yep.
and we're just like, what's happening to us, right?
Right.
So it's all about really understanding that we can actually be the conscious creators of it, and that's what this flower of life, I mean, the tree of life modality, basically connecting, seems to be able to show you is how to pull in multidimensional aspects of yourself and start creating consciously. You say you can discover your multidimensional self through the tree of life. You kind of touched on it a bit, but do you want to share maybe more of how you help people guide them in order to connect to their multidimensional selves,
Yeah,
utilizing that tool?
definitely. So, um, exactly, we are so much more than what we think we are, or what our mind thinks we are. Right? We've developed this human character that we're playing out based on how we were raised, our cultural background, our experiences, our journey. We've developed this human character. Aaron Pine, Neil, right? Whoever we are, we're that, and we're so much more. And that's where I guide people into connecting with their avatar. And this is through my online platform or one-on-one, helping you connect with what I call your avatar form. And most people know avatars through the different masters, Jesus, Buddha, etc. through time. There's also obviously also digital avatars, in a lot of games and stuff. To me, it's your mythical self, it's your masterful self, it's your higher self in a clear form. So I guide people up into that to kind of let go of the human story and connect with that mythic self. Mine is the elven wizard, and that's why you see me all decked out here, right, as that. And I continue to discover how I can embody that, and what that means for me, and how that lives through me. That is myself. That is outside the human story, right? In the modern times, there's no such thing as wizards in modern America, right? So it's a story outside of the human self. It includes my human self, but it's this bigger magical self. And to me, that symbolizes my power, my connection to the tree of life, my connection to magic, to the realms at large. And so whether you want to say I've created, imagined, and or downloaded the story of the elven wizard and his ability to travel the realms and bring that magic into this world. And so that aligns me with my purpose and my quest of why I came here, and how I want to live and bring that through. So as people begin to develop their avatar, they understand how it is outside of the human game. It's that bigger version, that bigger character that is playing the human experience. It's kind of flipping it. So normally a lot of people are doing work to connect with their higher self, which is beautiful, but it still sort of exists as this outside thing over here. And what I'm guiding people to do is get a very clear vision of what your higher self is, your avatar. And then you start to import that, you bring that through and synchronize your human life with that. And it's super fun. And you can go, I'm obviously seem to be pioneering this and going as full force into it as I can. So it may be the dress, it's having things around you that remind you and help you embody and bring that through, and then start to make decisions in your life is what I'm deciding, is what I'm choosing in alignment with my avatar, is where I'm living in alignment with that, is what I'm creating in alignment with that. Is that
Right. Yeah, it makes sense.
A lot of us operate of the human story of what I think I should be doing because of my parents, because of culture, because of media, whatever. Am I living based on that, or am I living my own truth of who I am and what I am and why I came here?
Yeah, it makes sense, because when you embody your avatar self and you start taking the wheels consciously, you see the bigger picture of it all, and you don't let the emotions, insecurities, inhibitions hold you back, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this
Fully
is me.
embodied.
This is who I am. This is how I'm showing up. This is why I came here. I'm not going
Yeah.
to kind of waste my life doing, things
Yeah.
from other vantage points. It's like I'm bringing through my gift, who I am.
Right. This reminds me of a lot of things within consciousness reminds me of this movie, but the movie The Fountain.
Oh yeah, yep.
So basically, he's like almost like a victim to all of his timelines, and then he transcends and goes into where the Maya say that nebula constellation, where the Maya say all souls go to recycle. He
Right,
becomes his avatar self, and he's able to change his timelines.
right. That's it.
And even Jim Self talked about this called simultaneous time when he did this modality where you transcend all of your existence by speeding up your aura to 3/4 the speed of light, and then all of a sudden you transcend and you're able to see all your incarnations at the same
Right.
time and consciously create it and create benevolence and harmony within those. So it's very
Beautiful.
similar, another
Yeah.
modality to do that, right?
Yeah, I see it as is if we are the tree of life, our own individual, if we can move back into that energy, and then
Mhm.
like a branch of that has sort of come into the earth realm and has picked up, right, the format. Here's the game of earth. Here's its structures and ways and physics and all that. And then we fractured out from there, different branches into, okay, this was me in ancient Egypt. Here I was in ancient Asia. Here I was in Africa. Here I am in modern day. So different branches.
Mm.
And then even those split off into littler, smaller twigs. Okay, here's me as a child in Egypt. Here's me as a teenager. So we're all those aspects. And yeah, there can be those disharmonies, the traumas. So if we step back, we can then bring new life force and love to like harmonize all those, and then draw
Mhm.
that essence or wisdom or mana, as I like to call it, into where we're at right now. So
Mm.
I can connect into those lifetimes, see if there's something there I
Right.
can bring into this one, and it's that mastery of, yeah, you've had all these experiences, and they're all just parts of your more multidimensional, infinite nature.
That's very interesting because life between life regressions that have occurred where people basically take on incarnations that they've had and imprint themselves before they get born. You're saying you can get to a place where you can rewrite that contract here basically and pull those in here rather than
Mhm.
being a victim to your choices before you incarnated,
Right,
so
right,
to
yeah,
speak.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. So it's like
Yeah.
backstepping, right? Because it's all happening eternally now. So you move
Hmm.
out of but it gets fractured through the time experience of the earth realm. So you move
Yeah.
out of that time fracture, and then you're able to kind of feel the whole branch of the earth experience, and
Mm.
then draw them all in and be nourished by them all, right? Because
Mm.
every leaf on a tree, each leaf was one of your lifetimes, for example, that's the model, then they're all nourishing the whole tree, right? They're all bringing in
Mhm.
light and information and exchanging oxygen and carbon, right? So if we can step out of those and see the nourishment of all those, and that's bringing love and awareness to every experience, even if something horrible happened or you did something horrible, you can step out. Okay, well, that was just part of the journey of the expression of the game that I'm learning and gaining mana from, and life force and expansion as a divine creative being experiencing all these realities.
Exactly. So I want to get in a moment here. I want to get into inner realms of what you're doing now.
Yeah,
But first, like, you said a keyword, and I love everything Norse mythology and
yeah,
ancient history on Norse. So I just want to let you freestyle real quick on anything you want to share about your connection to the Norse mythology.
yeah. I love. Well, an overview picture, right, is as a teenager, I loved playing Dungeons and Dragons and was loved fantasy literature, and then of course got into Lord of the Rings and loved all that magical stuff. And at that time, this was like 90s. It was a little more fringe. You're a little more nerdy for being in that. Of course, now it's becoming more and more mainstream, and like now it's all the cool stuff to do. But I loved all that, and then I got into spirituality, meditation, and journey work, and all this stuff. And I started to see this bridge, like, okay, this experience of fantasy is not too far off from a lot of the spiritual kind of context. And then, doing further research, I saw that most modern fantasy has been inspired by Lord of the Rings and Tolkien, who wrote it. And he was heavily influenced by ancient European mythology. And he actually wanted to weave them together, to deepen them, to enrich them. So he added a lot to them, but he was inspired by that. And a lot of that goes back to ancient Celtic and ancient Norse mythology. And Norse mythology is centered around the tree of life, Yggdrasil, which is my favorite. And unfortunately, a lot of that has been lost to time. A lot of it was oral. What we have was some stuff was written down as the culture was starting to phase out. But what we do have is that there's these different amazing gods and goddesses, and they traveled the tree of life. They went to the different realms, and they had their different basically adventures, and they were seeking awareness and knowledge and treasures. And they had their own trials and tribulations that they went through. And again, Earth was one world. It was Midgard, the Middle Earth, on the tree of life. And humanity was sort of in the middle of all this cosmos and all these realms, and the gods and goddesses coming and going through them all. And there's a bit of like, if when we die as humans, where do we go? And there's these different realms that we may potentially go through, and we'll kind of get recycled through them and back here to Earth. They're all interconnected, and they're all feeding this tree of life. And there's goats on there dripping holy milk, and there's the eagle at the top of its awareness, and there's the dragon and the roots, and there's the squirrel Ratatoskr, who's one of my favorites, who travels the tree of life and kind of is the messenger between all the realms. So it's this beautiful, rich mythology with all these stories around it. And so, that one was probably my biggest inspiration for a lot of the work I do now. And it's cool to see, that there's definitely a revival in interest in Norse mythology and that story and Norse spirituality. There's also an amazing tree of life in Eastern Europe, the Slavic tree of life as well. And it's a little bit different, but very similar. There's these different worlds and all these gods and goddesses doing all kinds of crazy adventures around the realms. So it's cool to see that form there. And then, that was, I'll say, the basic framework for my inspiration for Inner Realms Journey. And just was guided to extend that, to take that framework and build upon it. To me, that's the roots of our past. And now we're moving into new experience. And how do we expand that out?
Exactly. Yeah. So so let's get into Inner Realms Journey, right? And we have a mutual friend, Jordan. She's the one who started the process of reconnecting us.
Yeah.
And she was saying that, like, I need to work with you because you're doing some epic next level experiences for people. So can you fill me in? What are you doing? What does it look like? And specifically also, I want to know what you're doing for kids and how it's helping them out.
Yeah, definitely. So Inner Realms Journey, it's a website. You can go to innerrealmsjourney.com, and we've got an app as well. And so basically you log in, and it's a huge library and continuing to grow of meditation journeys. And we've got amazing cinematic music and sound effects. I've got some awesome audio guys who've been helping me with this. And so each meditation takes you on a journey, and it builds upon it. So it's a bit like playing a game, because each meditation you do continues to build on. There's an epic story unfolding. It's a little bit like watching a TV show, because it's taking you there into this experience, but you're the hero, you're the main character going into this. So you put on headphones, hit play, and the first journeys, you meet my avatar as the Elven Wizard, and I tell you more about the
This is all audio, right? This is all audio.
Yeah. So put your headphones on, and you learn meditation techniques through this, but it's all in this new kind of fun format. There's breath work, there's energy, all kinds of stuff, but it's all reformatted in this whole system. And so you meet me as the Elven Wizard, and I tell you about, the realm of Earth that you're living is just one realm on the tree of life, and there's all these other realms waiting for you. And first, we need to get you connected with your avatar. And I take you through this fun, magical process. I give you some magical items to support you, and you get to discover and create your avatar. And from there, you get to build your own realm for your avatar, what we call your Inner Realm Sanctuary. And so the idea is that even though you're here, you have your own realm upon the tree of life, and it's your own creative space. It can be whatever you want. And then from there, we have these meditations that take you as your avatar to other realms. We've got the fairy realm, we've got angelic realm, I've got the Lyrian realm, I've got Palladian realm, I've got some other star ones coming, we've got the Ash realm, different underworlds. So it's tapping into all myths and levels and realms. And there's also a story that unfolds about the rainbow bridges between the realms and how they've been lost. And so you kind of are on this quest to restore them within yourself. And this begins to activate your true potential within you, because like we were talking about earlier, you start to access these realms and they each have particular wisdom for you that you can then draw forth into your daily life. The meditations are guided, so it's like listening to a story. There's me narrating. We've got some different voiceovers for different characters, because, like, say, for example, you go to the angelic realm, there's an angel there, Amrita, that comes and introduces you and shows you around and takes you to a healing temple. And then there's space there for you to have your own experience, for your own connection, your own imagination, your own story to unfold. And people are having some profound healing changes because it's allowing them to connect in with this multidimensional wisdom. People are learning things about themselves, why they have certain issues or challenges, and how to start changing their life. Then we've got different quests and trainings and ways to bring that magic into your day-to-day life. And this continues to build and build as you go along. So it's designed to be fun and engaging, like you're playing a game, watching an epic TV show, and you're learning and gaining all the benefits of doing inner deep work, meditation, journey work, breath work, learning how to work with your energy systems, I call your biosuit. So it's this whole bridge of many things.
And is it a series of like 1 hour segments, or is it one whole thing at one time?
It blends. So there's some meditations, I'll say the shortest ones are about 10 to 15 minutes, and our longest ones are about a little over an hour. We've got a few that are about an hour. And so there's a library of them, and you can kind of, as you stay, different ones unlock, and you can kind of go through them as you want. Most of them are in like the 30-minute range. And we also have some little daily power-ups that are like 5 minutes to just kind of get you started for your day, some breath work, connect with your avatar, bring in your avatar, connect with the tree of life. So just kind of get you juiced up and empowered for your day.
Nice.
So we got to mix that.
And where are those? Where are the all of them, but specifically the 5-minute ones? Like, do you have them on YouTube? Is it digital download? Do you have some free ones? Are they paid ones? Can you give us a breakdown of that?
Yeah. So there's a few on our YouTube, on Inner Realms Journey YouTube. But most of them, you go to the website and you sign in there, and you'll start to get access to them. And you can start the journey for free. And the library starts to open up to you, unlocking new journeys and all the daily power-ups and stuff.
Nice. All right. I'm actually literally like subscribing to Inner Realms Journey right now.
Perfect.
Is it Inner Realms Journey Inner Realms Journey Games?
InnerRealmsJourney.com.
But on YouTube.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, cool. Yeah, because I can use some 5-minute boosters every morning.
And you want to go through the first part of the platform is called the Avatar Activation Sequence. It's 5 meditations. It's 1 hour total. You can do it all at once or break it up. But that gets you connected with your biosuit, your avatar, and your sanctuary. That's kind of like the core components. And then everything else sort of builds off of that and is expressions of that. So you want to do that.
And that's on the website. That specific one.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice, man. Yeah, that's incredible. So you're basically combining like a fantasy book, but it's not really fantasy. It's based on a lot of reality.
Right.
And you're creating Inner Realms makes perfect sense. There's perfect sense. You're like meditating and you're going through Inner Realms. This could be a video game, in the future. This is next level.
What's interesting, some people ask me if I'm going to do VR with this, and I thought about maybe a little bit, but what I'm finding is this is activating the inner VR system that most of us aren't really fully using.
Yes.
So I'm seeing, for myself, it's helping me as well, but also people that are using it. They're like, as I continue to do this, my internal imagination, visual connection, all that's like activating more and more. And so, I've got people that have been with us since the beginning when we launched, and they're like, my creative abilities, my imagination is like through the roof with this, because it starts to activate those parts of the brain that most of us don't use that much. And it gives you a really fun framework to start building that and start accessing that. So, what I keep getting around this is like, we need to turn on this VR system in here and tap in the power of this, because through this, then we can bring change to this world, right? And reality.
The way this world is created is through our imagination too. Exactly, and that's a extremely mic drop, excellent point right there. Like, you're literally helping people re-access their own imagination and have it. You're so right. Like, I even like gravitated towards thinking like, oh, it'd be cool to have visuals, but the element of those visuals is taking us away. It's making us rely on something external than our own visual component inside. And every person's, if you create a visual thing for this, it's that one visual for everyone. But if you do the audio, everybody can have their own journey, their own type of woods, their own animals in the experience, right?
That's it. Like, for example, one guy who's been, loving it, changed his life in so many ways. There's an ice realm you go to, and he was there, and he had this experience with this like kind of older ice shaman that's not in the part I described, but there's space there for you to have your own experience. And this being came through, and he had, I think it was his left ear, he's had issues with for years, like his hearing not so good. And so this being came in, he said, "Hey, can you help me with this ear thing?" And he said, "Oh, remember when you were a child, there was a lot of intense stuff going on and yelling, and you blocked it off, and you've blocked it off since your youth." And it, like, all those memories flash back. And then he was like, "Oh yeah." And then he was able to clear that, and now his ear's working again. And if I give him visuals or too much, I give you enough structure to get you there, but there's enough openness for you to have your own personal imagination, insights, and connections come in that you need. And so I'm the bridge builder. I'm getting you back to these realms so that you can get what you need individually. And so, yeah, people come back to me, same journey, totally different experiences based on what they need and how it helps them in their life. So yeah, that's the key of it.
Beautiful. Yeah, so it's like an element of almost everything, including hypnosis on that aspect, doing some deep work in that whatever state they're in, theta state, whatever.
Exactly. Right. And then the kids stuff. So when I was in New Zealand, I connected with a wonderful woman, Emma, who's been a public school teacher for 20 years. And she was going through her spiritual journey. And so I was like, "Hey, check out what I'm creating." And she loved it. And she's like, "I want to do this with my kids in my class." And I was like, I knew this was going to be there'd be a kids aspect at some point, but it was like, okay, here we go. So she started running with her kids, 8, 9, 10-year-olds, and they loved it. And it just unlocked their imagination. And then we started to develop all these activities that they could do to still, kind of meet their curriculum and their academic learning and their artistic learning. So over a year, she got to run this with a lot of kids. And so we developed a whole curriculum that is inspired by the meditation. So for example, your avatar, you create that, your mythic persona. So we've got all these projects where they can then draw it, design it, do research on it, learn science around it, all kinds of stuff. And the kids get so much more excited because it's so personal to them and their own experience in the inner realms. And then, for example, like I said, there's a journey to the ice realm or fire realm. So then now that you've been there, go study the Antarctic. How did other people survive in the Antarctic? What's going on there? What's that environment like? You get to create an animal ally. So say your animal was a bear. Okay, let's go research bears and the bear's environment and their habitats. And so the kids are so much more engaged and enthusiastic to do these projects when it's connected to that. So developed we've got an initial 12-part curriculum. That's 12 meditations. And then there's pages of activities that a teacher, a tutor, a parent, homeschool parent can do with their kid. And it can be very minimal, or it's designed to be, it can be the whole core of your education. And so we're just starting to get that out to different areas and running different programs around that.
Beautiful, man. You've done some incredible work. I'm so excited to be reconnected with you and to really dive deeper into what you've done and just your ability to put this all together, and especially for, helping kids like find meditation through something that's actually enjoyable. Right. Rather than just having to sit there and be quiet. It's almost like, they're creating their own book in their mind.
Yeah, they're creating their own mythology, their own story, their own heroic journey. And that's it. Like, meditation's obviously becoming more popular, and they're trying to do mindfulness in schools, but it's still it's still a bit challenging to get the kids to, sit there. But if you're like, all right, so power up our biosuits, connect with your avatar, we're going to go on this adventure to the ice realm, learn it. They're like, yeah. I mean, Emma had kids asking, like, she had to do obviously her other school projects and requirements and stuff. But when they're like, I finished my project, can I go do a journey? She had a boy with ADD or ADHD, and he wanted to keep going, so he'd be sitting there for 30 minutes, headphones on, like off in the realms, and she's like, he can hardly focus on anything. Like, so she saw this huge connection and ability for them to learn how to monitor their system, their energy, their emotions, and creative potential. And it was really cool to see even some we have a few journeys, and I want to do more testing with this where it's designed to do it with a group so that all of you are going to a particular realm together. Like you're all meditating, we're going to this realm together, interact there in meditation, and then come back and share. And so if, like, say you and I did this, and I say, Neil, yeah, I saw you, there's your avatar, and you were telling me about this. Is that what you saw too? Yeah, like the kids were starting to share things that they saw in meditation in real life. So start opening some telepathic abilities, I believe, which then also brings in deeper group synergy, right? They were a class doing this together, and they understood each other at this avatar level, which is profound. You know, it's a deep seeing, a deep understanding, a deep honoring of each individual, who they really are. And it allows a new level of synergy. And I want to bring this to companies and businesses and other teams. Like, okay, let's all show up as our avatar. And do you understand, like, you know, people around me know I'm the Elven Wizard, and they know how I work, and they know what to expect. They know how to support me, right? It's synergized around that. So it's like this deep honor of who you are at your soul level, really.
Yeah, that's excellent, man. And so I just posted the link again for everybody, innerrealmsjourney.com. And I would love to figure out some way to showcase this on Portal to Ascension, you know, either an online event. I just see so much potential. There's so many different things and elements that you really brought into this.
Yeah.
And even a live workshop, something like that. But I'm specifically interested in the whole group connection thing, you know, authentic relating. And you also added, like, it's active listening, you know, truly listening to people is unfortunately, you know, something that isn't really predominant in the world right now.
Right.
You know, and a lot of times, if coming from someone who was riddled with anxiety, being in my head so much, I can attest to the fact that when you have that, like, mild level of anxiety, you're always planning things out in your head, and it's really hard to be completely present for people, right? I've been really working on it lately. And then as a child, active listening is really difficult because you're all over the place. So the fact that the child is going there, listening to it all, following it all, is creating an entrainment at an early age for them to be able to be active listeners later in life.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, a lot of practices are how to ground your system and calm your nervous system and connect with the earth. So that helps with the mind, calming that down, and emotions. I just did a group workshop online. It was pretty much, everyone had already been in the inner realms. They already knew their avatar, so they're a little more further along in the platform. But they didn't know each other. And so I gave them each time to share about their avatar with everyone else. We did this really fun, playful way where it's like, okay, now the Elven Wizard, or now Neil steps through this portal. Neil, go ahead. And you got to share your avatar with everybody else, and everyone else listened. And then they created from their avatar a gift for you. So it was like a gift from one soul to another. And it was amazing, like the profound seeing and awareness and gift, fun and playful and like spot on. And the level of connection in such a short time and empowerment through that was amazing. And that's something I want to continue to build and run groups, you know, together over periods where they get to continue to build that synergy and that connection together. So
how beautiful, man. Yeah. Thank you. So before we close out here, I want to give back to you. If you want to share any other projects or things you're working on, or just direct people to where you know, I know you have 2 websites, your own. I'm not sure if it's the same kind of thing on both sites, but also, what is your, like, truest passion, brother? And, like, what is your intention for what you're doing? You know, what do you see in this world? What are you imagining creating for all of humanity?
Thank you. Well, I've got 2 websites. This is innerrealmsjourney.com. So that's the whole kind of do it yourself. You sign up and you get to go through and develop your avatar and go on all these journeys. And then there's aaronpine.com, which will allow you to work with me. That's more one-on-one. I do private sessions. I've got some other, like, ongoing trainings and other things I do on there. So if you want to work with me more one-on-one, that's the way to go there. I see all this going is to open up people to who they really are and allow them to live from that place, to find that magic inside themselves and bring that out into this world. I feel like so much of the world right now is designed to keep us sort of limited and constricted and fit into boxes. And that limits our potential. And I know we're facing some, huge challenges in the world. And I think that requires everyone to step up. It's a call forth for everyone to bring their full potential, their imagination, their creativity, their passion into the world. So that's my intention with all this, is to help people find that and give them the support systems to feel that magic and to sustain it in day-to-day life, and bring that through in their life. And I see this, my intention is to change how we work, teams, schools, how we educate kids, allowing them to understand things and learn things here, but also equally to be empowered in who they are and to bring through their own inner gifts through this. And within all my work, there's a deep connection to nature, and that's very important to me, obviously, as the elven wizard. And so to inspire that connection and help us rebuild that connection to nature, because I feel like nature is a pathway to creativity, to nourishment, to these other realms. And we've obviously destroyed a lot of it, and it's wanting to come back. And I feel like the elements are calling to us, hey, wake up, people, remember us, and that remember who you are. So that's a big foundation of my work. And part of the profits of Inner Realms goes to planting trees. And I've got a lot of other nature quests in the works as well. So yeah, I see a world where people are more in alignment with who they are, expressing that fully and integrated and supported with nature, with the planet. And that to me brings in the harmony of all the realms and allows us to play here in our full self, to enjoy this game and to change the game to something much more harmonious and fun and playful for everyone. And I think we're all building that together in a new way. And so I'm here to help people bring their full power, their full character, their full magic here to this world.
Beautiful, brother. Yeah, I feel it, man. And feel it. I love what you said. Feel it and sustain it.
Yes.
That's important. We often talk about feeling it, but it's got to be sustained if we're going to bring it down here.
Yeah,
right?
That's why if I'm ever feeling a little off, I throw in the wizard hat and I'm back on.
That is an epic hat. Like, I've just been thinking, I was like, man, maybe I should start rocking it. I got a wizard robe from Guatemala recently, and I'm going to start walking around. And I'm going to walk in the airports with my robe on.
I continue to go more and more out with this.
Yeah, seriously, man.
Yeah,
Aaron, it's been such a pleasure. I've really enjoyed this conversation, bro. And I'm glad we're reconnected.
Yeah.
This is just the beginning. So everybody who's tuning in, you're going to be seeing Aaron more often. We're going to definitely figure some things out to really show what he's doing and his work, and hopefully go on some Inner Realms journeys with Aaron. So, brother, thank you for being who you are, man. I really appreciate you. And I'm just glad that we are in each other's lives, and we're doing this work together. Thank you, man.
Brother. Appreciate it. It's wonderful to be here.
Yeah.
Magic.
Thank you. And to everybody tuning in, thank you for tuning in. If you're on the Portal to Ascension Radio podcast, thank you so much for tuning into that. We are attempting to really get that off the ground and exponential. And if you want to download our podcast, please do. We're on all platforms, Spotify, Amazon, all of that. So you can check out Portal to Ascension Radio. And we are going live every other day with a couple of interviews here. So stay tuned for some amazing individuals. And 90% plus of these people are completely new to Portal to Ascension. So it's pretty exciting. Over the next 3 months, we're introducing to a lot of people that are doing some great work in the world, and just giving voices to people that are really here for the upliftment of humanity. So to everybody out there, love you so much. Thank you for being here. Take care.